Hello, my name is Penny McMahon, and I'm here to present the findings of a simple lifestyle change to prevent colon cancer research study. In 2014, more than 137,000 people were diagnosed with colon cancer and 50,000 died from the disease, according to the 2014-2016 Colorectal Cancer Facts and Figures recently released. The American Cancer Society spends roughly $160 million each year on cancer research, and of that figure, 17.3% is on colon cancer specifically. Of all cancer deaths, it is the second largest when men and women are combined. 41% of people over the age of 50 say they are not consistent with preventative screenings. There is a 90% 5-year survival rate for cases caught early, but only 40% of colon cancer patients are detected at an early stage. Roughly 1 in 20 Americans will be diagnosed with colon cancer in their lifetimes. One estimate is that 70% of all colon cancer deaths are attributed to diet. The problem statement we were looking to answer with this survey is annually 50,000 mortalities from colon cancer are still occurring. Who do we need to target for more awareness and education to get these numbers down? The research objectives of this study were to get the following questions answered. What age group should be targeted for future education and awareness? Do subjects know the risk factors? Do they understand the necessity of early detection screenings, such as colonoscopies? Are people willing to change their lifestyle to prevent this deadly disease? What risk factors are the highest in participants? Age, body mass index, smoking, dietary issues, or hereditary? A nominal measurement was used to answer questions such as how many servings of vegetables do you eat in a 7-day period? How many servings of fruit? How many servings of processed meats, such as bacon, hot dogs, or sausages? How many servings of whole grains? How many servings of red meat? How many servings of beans? How many servings of dairy? How much exercise is performed in a 7-day period? Do any immediate family members have a history of colon cancer or colon polyps? Do participants follow recommendations for colon cancer screenings like colonoscopies? Do the participants drink alcohol? The intent of this survey was to determine age groups with the highest risk of contracting colon cancer and using this information to focus future education and awareness programs to them. The null hypothesis is that all age groups have the same risk of getting colon cancer. The alternative hypothesis is that all age groups have a different risk of getting colon cancer. The goal of this survey was to determine which age group needs further education and awareness, and we predicted the following conclusions would be validated in this study. As people age, they eat better, they exercise more, but their health concerns still increase their colon cancer risk factors as they get older. 40% of respondents left the cholesterol question blank. Therefore, the data does not appear to be random and the results are not predictable, so we eliminated the question from the resulting data analysis. One respondent answered a height in inches question as 511. So this was changed to 71 inches since it was apparent what was meant. Finally, one respondent said they were in the 35 to 44-year-old age group and also checked the box to being under 18. This was corrected to reflect over 18. Using a chi-square test, we can reject the null hypotheses. The calculated chi-square results were 8.158466 and the critical value was 11.09. Therefore, the observed frequency of the risk factors did not differ significantly from what would be expected. We are 95% confident that the information is valid. One study shows researchers recruited 77,659 men and women from the Seventh-day Adventist churches nationwide, and more than 200 foods were included on the well-validated questionnaires. In this study, vegetarians had a 21% reduced colorectal cancer risk. Those participants that ate fish 1 or more times a month and other meats less than once a month reduced their risk by 42% compared with non-vegetarians. Given these extreme differences between meat eating versus vegetarian lifestyle, makes education even more significant for reducing mortality rates from colon cancer. The EPIC study examined dietary fiber intake and incidence of colorectal cancer in 519,978 people between the ages of 25 and 70 from 1992 to 1998. Of these, 1,065 cases of colon cancer were analyzed over the next 4.5 years. Their findings predict that if dietary fiber were doubled, the risk of colon cancer would be reduced by as much as 40%. The research method that was used was a quantitative communication survey using computer-assisted survey information collection. Our target audience was participants located in the United States who were at least 18 years of age. Our delivery method was an email survey. 33 risk factors were evaluated to analyze the survey results, breaking the findings down by age groups. Some were surprising, and some were not surprising at all. In the 18 to 24-year-old age group, 80% of the participants have high risk factors for dietary concerns. The next group, the 25 to 34-year-olds, eat a little better, and their risk markers dropped to 63%. Following the prediction of better dietary choices as we age, the 35 to 44-year-old age group again dropped to 59%. Once again, the next age group, 45 to 54-year-olds, dropped again by just a few percentage points to 56%. Then they start going back up. 61% for 55 to 64-year-olds and 71% of risk factors for people aged 65 and older. The older age groups tended to eat more meat and dairy and eat fewer fruits and vegetables. The activity level was a little less predictable. The 25 to 34-year-old age group was the least active, with exercise and possibly sitting for the majority of their day. The 35 to 44-year-old age group and the 44 to 54-year-old age groups came in at 89% and 90% high risk. So they were a little more active than the 25 to 34-year-olds. The 55 to 64-year-old age group was a little more active at 79% high risk, but the most active were the 18 to 24-year-olds at 63% and the 65 and older age group at 60%. Lifestyle factors like smoking, drinking alcohol, high blood pressure, diabetes, and body mass index all came in relatively low. All groups came in below 30% for lifestyle choice risk factors. A couple of notable items are a lot of people have quit smoking. The highest rate of risk came in at the 65 and older age group at 40%, but most of the 35 to 64-year-olds are smoke-free. Alcohol consumption too came in quite low. The only group that had more than one drink in a day is the 45 to 54-year-old age group. No high blood pressure was reported in the younger age groups, but this marker went up with age, 20% for 45 to 54-year-olds, 24% for 55 to 64-year-olds, and 40% for 65 and older age group. The body mass index was the most surprising on the lifestyle measurements. All groups came in with a percentage over 25 for BMI. In order, the 18 to 24-year-olds came in at 25%, 65 and older age group 40%, the 45 to 54-year-olds 60%, 35 to 44-year-olds 78%, 25 to 34-year-olds 80%, and finally the 55 to 64-year-old age group at risk factors of 82%. The risk factors related to health concerns are as predicted. Each group goes up with age. One respondent in the 25 to 34-year-old age group had irritable bowel syndrome, so this skewed the data slightly. But age accordingly goes up. 18 to 24-year-olds were at 8%, 25 to 34-year-olds 20%, 35 to 44-year-olds 15%, 45 to 54-year-olds 20%, 55 to 64-year-olds 28%, and 65 and older age group at 34%. The goal of this survey was to determine which age group to focus future awareness and education on. Unfortunately, there was little difference comparing all age groups with the 33 markers to attain a big distinction in the results. Analyzing an average of all the risk markers by age group, we determined the 18 to 24-year-olds have 55% of the markers for high risk of colon cancer. The 25 to 34-year-old age group has 53% high risk markers for colon cancer. The 35 to 44-year-old age group, 48%. The 45 to 54-year-olds, 49% high risk. The 55 to 64 age group, 52%. And finally, the 65 and older age group at 57% high risk factors. The range between all of these groups with high risk markers of the 33 factors recorded is only 9%. So the information is inconclusive to a specific group to target. In conclusion, we would recommend that instead of targeting a specific age group, the focus should be spent on educating all ages to prevent colon cancer through dietary choices. It's been estimated that 70% of the colon cancer cases are related to diet. With a mortality rate of 50,000 per year, this amounts to 35,000 lives that could be saved by changing your diet alone. If we could find a way to get through to all age groups with education on moving more, following a whole foods plant-based diet, losing weight, and doing their preventative screenings, we could eliminate deaths from this deadly disease. Thank you for your time today, and have a great day.